There we go. Hello, Pearl Pediatric Therapy family. We are coming to you today with a very, very special guest and a special interview so that you can hear from another mom, and she might be similar to your situation with your little one. So we are going to be talking today and taking her through some questions and some answers that I think you guys will find hugely helpful, and she is a phenomenal mom. So I am going to start asking her some questions. If you have questions for her, you guys can go ahead and comment down below in the link, and we will answer as we go. And then after this video is completed, we are going to put some links down there, some resources, some things that she has found value in that maybe could help you and your little one as well. So, Kaylee, welcome. And you'd like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kaylee, and I'm the mom of Joseph. This is Joseph. He's a twin. His twin Ruby is playing in the other room right now, so we can do this interview.
Yes.
But yeah, we're here today to talk about Joseph and our experience with therapies.
Okay, so will you start with telling us about the twins and their arrival?
Okay.
How early were they, and how did that go?
Sure. So they're 3.5 now, and they're healthy and they're developing. But they were born frighteningly early. They were only 25 weeks. I was 25 weeks, 6 days pregnant when they came early. We were in the NICU for a really long time, 163 days total. And they had a rough journey in the NICU. We went through a lot of ups and downs. Any NICU mom will tell you it's quite a roller coaster, and they definitely had their fair share of challenges while we were there. So.
And then for Joseph specifically, when you guys went home, what did that look like for him specifically?
So Joseph actually, when we came home from the NICU, Joseph was on oxygen, but that was really the only medical kind of support that he had at the time. Mommy.
You're Mommy. Okay. Tear emoji.
He immediately started receiving home health therapies when we came home from the NICU. He'd been receiving therapy throughout our NICU journey, PT, OT, and speech, and he's continued with those each service twice a week, so about 6 hours of therapy a week since coming home.
To come home. And then what, can you talk to them just a little bit about his diagnosis, and then if you can talk to them a little bit about his shunt and what that looks like?
Sure. So Joseph, when he was in the NICU, we're not sure exactly when it happened. He had a brain bleed probably right after birth. We're not exactly sure when it happened. So the brain bleed resulted in hydrocephalus, and about age 1 he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. While in the NICU with the hydrocephalus, his head, the shape of his head, because his brain was producing too much fluid, his head grew really tall. And that was all that extra fluid on his brain. So he had a shunt placed at Dallas Children's Hospital. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can see his shunt. It's like a little valve that sits right outside of his brain. And there's a tube attached to that goes all the way down his body here. And drains still his brain still produces the extra fluid. That didn't stop. The shunt relieves that extra fluid and pressure from his brain. It drains it out right outside of his stomach, and just kind of gets reabsorbed by his body. And we've been very blessed, very lucky that it's been functioning fine since it was put in. And he was put in March. He was about 3 months old when he had that put in. So.
Okay. And so without that, he would not have been able to continue and progress and all that. Right. So the shunt is very important. If in the future your child would need that, your neurologist, they would walk you through that and why it's necessary and if you need it. And as a therapist, one thing, if you ever have a child with a shunt, you just have to be aware of symptoms. If there were to be what they would consider a shunt malfunction or something is wrong with the shunt, typically it looks like vomiting, irritability spikes and things like that. And as a mom, you might just have a mom gut.
Oh yeah, the things we watch for, it's similar to concussion symptoms. So like uncontrollable projectile vomiting that kind of seems to come out of nowhere. They're no fever, no virus going on, nothing going around. Super irritable, maybe not controlling their body like they normally do, not having as much function as they normally do.
And then can you tell them a little bit, Kaylee, so the cerebral palsy, how did it present for Joseph about, can you talk about his right side versus his left?
So he has, cerebral palsy is
He's such a love bug.
A big, kind of a big umbrella of different levels, I guess.
The brain without oxygen in different levels.
So Joseph's brain damage, the bleed happened on the left side of his brain. No. So the right side of his brain is what's affected because left controls the right. So he, when he was diagnosed with the brain bleed, they told us that cerebral palsy was one of the risks, I guess, that he had, a possibility for him, but they said you just kind of have to wait and see what happens. They don't know what the diagnosis or what the prognosis is going to be from having a brain bleed. And he had a grade 4, which is the highest level, highest grade they give. So his right side, it's not right now, but his right side oftentimes would be totally clenched up, super tight like this, his little hand. His right eye kind of turns in a little bit. The eyes don't quite work together. His right foot also will his toes will curl up super tight. He also is really tight on his right side of his body. His muscles just feel like he's always flexing.
And so we're going to do a little separate video of Joseph in a minute of some exercises that we do to help with that. But Kaylee's exactly right. So that cerebral palsy, it varies in children and how it presents. But with Joseph, he's just tighter on his right side. So a lot of our therapy sessions, we're trying to prep his system, so to speak, so that we can decrease his tone a little bit so he'll have more flexibility and more movement, because this guy wants to go everywhere.
And he does.
He's very motivated. Can you talk to us a little bit about your daily life as a mom and how you get that right side moving in your home?
Okay, so we're really, I'm really fortunate as a mom that with the twins, for Joseph's benefit, snuggle, okay. For Joseph's benefit, he has a twin sister who's developing very typically, which is a miracle coming from a micropreemie. But I basically try to mirror what she's doing developmentally. I try to mirror it for Joseph. So she has a little trampoline and she jumps on it. So I put Joseph on it. He's not able to stand independently yet, but I'll put him on there just on his bottom, and I just push and bounce him so that he's getting that movement, that stimulation. He loves to swing. He loves any kind of water activity. He loves any kind of movement. And I just basically try to modify it with either myself supporting him or some type of equipment supporting him so that he can do what she does.
And she's an amazing mom. When we give her things to work on, they're worked on. She has new ideas when we come back. She's already doing new things. And she gets him up and moving. So it's really important. If your little one has high tone and they're tighter on one side than the other, you want them to be moving and playing and interacting with all of their peers, friends, twin sister, mom, dad, the community. So can you tell us, what are some resources? I know you mentioned some groups and finding a good fit. So what are some ways that you can get a good kind of tribe around them?
So wherever you happen to live, we're in New Braunfels, where Pearl is based also, and we have a really good support community here in New Braunfels that's I think it's called New Braunfels Parents of Special Needs Children or something. It's a Facebook group, but wherever you live, there's almost certainly some type of a support group for special needs children. I'd also recommend, if you haven't already, whatever your child's diagnosis happens to be, whether it's cerebral palsy or autism or whatever it is, join a group on Facebook. And that has been such a source of help, makes us feel more not alone with this child who's got some special characteristics and needs some special help. And it's just been kind of an endless resource for us.
She told me that, and that I thought was really insightful, making sure that you have a local group and then also making sure that you have maybe a more global or national level of the diagnosis that is most important to you in your household. Can you talk to us a little bit about finding a good fit with therapy and and then we will take a little break and come back for a little segment with Joseph himself.
Okay.
But what would you give advice for parents that are new to this world and they're trying to navigate either insurance or therapy or trying to find the right fit for their child?
Okay. The knee-jerk reaction with having preemies and having a child or children with special needs is I don't care what it costs. I'm just going to do it. And that is partially what we went through. But at the same time, it adds up really quickly, especially if you're not getting the quality of therapy that your child needs. So, or the quantity even. I mean, maybe your insurance says, you know, we can pay for one session a month. Well, he needs more support than that. So that's when we have to reach out and kind of get creative and find other ways to support our children. But as far as finding a therapist that fits with your family, you have to understand and realize this person or these people, he gets 6 hours of therapy a week from 3 different therapists. So I've got 6 hours out of the week when I've got another adult in the home working with Joseph. Not only do they have to be a really good fit for him, but they have to be a really good personality fit for our family. I've befriended our therapists and I call and text them all the time and I'm like, what does this mean? What are we doing here? You know, it's not just, you know, a week before we see you again or 2 weeks before we see you again, I'll hold those questions and wait. No, I mean, if you have a really good therapist who's helping and really advocating for your child, that is so amazing, and it's just so necessary for your child's development.
You should feel safe wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
So they deserve the best.
Yeah.
So we hope this has been helpful. I know it has. I've had some requests to hear from mamas. And so Kaylee is one of my top that I could think of that would have really valuable information. Did you just say Kaylee?
So thanks.
I knew she would have valuable wisdom and helpful hints for you guys. If you guys are new, if you have preemies, if you're watching this from a NICU and you're overwhelmed, we want you to know how to reach out and what's coming and all the good things coming your way. So we are going to let you guys go, and we will be back for a segment with this man.
Can you say bye-bye? Say bye-bye.